What's going on, guys? This is Kaishiro. Welcome back. So we are back with another video. So in this video we're going to cover our usual Uncrowned Kings local metagame report that will cover tournament results and decklist reviews for the past week. We have June 1 to June 9, so this is going to be the last month of our April 2024 format before we eclipse towards a new ban list this coming July. So this video is going to be very exciting now because we're going to see the last hurrah of the April format. So yeah, without further ado, let's start. Coming at first, we have Yu-Gi-Oh! Metagame Malang. June 2 tournament, we have first place here, Salaman Great. So nothing too fancy about this build. Played triple Signet Mining, of course, to boost the consistency of the Salaman Great, and also played triple Forbidden Droplet, which is quite interesting. This can be good against Voiceless Voice to nullify the Skull Guardian, and also can be decently good against Yubel as well. So yeah, I think Forbidden Droplet is very advantageous for his build because you can discard cards for Salaman Great, and you also gain card advantages like the Foxy and Spinny. So yeah, I think this build is very functional, yet very simple as well. And moving on, we have Pendulum Magician, no? With Zerk and Melodious. Yeah, with Melodious. So this is the standard build of Zerk Melodious. So Melodious definitely starts your play on this build, and you do have a lot of one card combo, Dragon Shrine, Foolish Boreal, Ostinato. All of those powerful stuff on this deck can definitely start your engine and build a very massive board. So yeah, on the build, there's nothing too extravagant or unusual here. Played triple Dragon Shrine, no? Some play two, but I think triple Dragon Shrine gives you the best out of the consistency of this card. So yeah, I think this is a very good list as well from Hawin. Next we have Snake Eyes, Influence Balls with Chicken Game. So this is the usual Snake Eyes. This doesn't play Finsmith cards and also Millennium cards. So it only does play consistency cards and resiliency cards like the Magician Soul and also the Chicken Game to boost the draw power and consistency of this build. And also played uh, triple only double Nibiru. So double Nibiru very good against the Snake Eyes Mirror, and also decently good against the combo decks that are running around in the format right now. There's a bunch of that. Also the ABC, the Ritual Beast, all of those heavy combo decks can be affected by this Nibiru, the primal being. And next we have Resonator, yeah. Resonator with Earthbound, small Earthbound engine. So yeah, this is a usual combo deck which has very good combo plays and can also get you into proper interactions and interruptions to set up your board, and yeah, very consistent as well. The only problem would be things like Maxi, Droll, and even Nibiru. So yeah, I think this is very dicey to play right now in the format, especially Droll and Nibiru are quite popular on the main deck and side deck of many people. And yeah, moving on, we have Arcanium Hobbies. We have first place Fluandris. So this is Fluandris that is very flexible. It played the Apache, which is very strong on going first, and also played two copies of Trust, which can get Imperm and also Duster, and ultimately can set up the Feather Storm, which is an FTK, almost FTK route on this Fluandris. Gives you so much value on this Trust once you can bait out Veilers, Ash, Ghost Ogres. So yeah, those are very popular hand traps right now. Also, very notable that he played a double Kaiser Colosseum. So you can sit on Empen and Kaiser Colosseum and basically win the game from there. And also the Dark Simorg, which is very good against the back row decks like Runic, Labyrinth, and other set decks like Rescue Ace. So yeah, very good build here from Denny. So next we have Eldritch. So this is going to be a very enticing list because this features a tactical tri deck Eldritch, which are recently published in the OCG with a very cheap price point and also very affordable, no? So you could pretty much get the Eldritch core for a very cheap price, and you can build this deck, so you can use this as a reference. So very linear, no? Played Floodgates and powerful trap cards like Solemn Judgment and Solemn Strike, which can definitely shut down a lot of decks on the format right now, with triple Inspector Border, which can definitely stun a lot of decks on the format right now. And also, it is notable that he plays the Rabbit, the Link to Rabbit Illusion Rabbit. So you could fetch off the Apophis. So you could get Apophis and procure your mid game plays and protect your board. and also negate the opponent's cards. So yeah, this is a very good list. Also played triple light imprisoning and dark imprisoning. So the Snake Eyes, Finsmith, and also the Voiceless Voice are going to to have a tough time against this build from Adan. Next we have another Fluandris, third place this time. So yeah, I think it's pretty much the same as the build earlier. With few adjustments, yeah, it played the Waterbury Statue on the main deck, which is also another form of stun card. And yeah, the extra deck are just bunch of random cards, Sky Striker cards at this point. And also played Kaiser Colosseum. I wonder what's the trend for Kaiser in Fluandris. I think it will eventually resurface on some metagame reports as well. And yeah, I think it's very interesting to see how the Kaiser will evolve in the deck of Fluandris. Next, we have fourth place Ubel. So yeah, this is without Finsmith. Yeah, without Finsmith. So just the standard Ubel with Fin shenanigans, nothing too extravagant or fancy. Just the usual Ubel build and very effective as well. You sit on Spirit of Ubel. You have your Blue Dog Unchained and also things like SP Little Knight and Valdora of the rank 10 monster here on the extra deck. And also played the Bestial package, no? Which can be good against Finsmith and Voices Voice. You could banish the Luri and also the Safira and Lo, of course. So moving on, we have Bandung Duwilis Banlis local tournament. We have first place Fai. We have Whitewoods Toy Box with visas. Wow, very spicy from Fai. So I didn't expect this to top on this tournament, but this is very insane. You could pretty much get the gist of this deck, comboing out of control, getting very slippery against sand traps. So it's hard to stop this deck. There's a bunch of engines that you could track off on this build, but this build can prevail and out hustle those sand traps on this ratio of combo pieces. And Toy Box definitely is a phenomenal engine to boost the White Woods, and paired with Visas, you have access to the Calarium and also the Visas line. So this is very explosive. And also on the side deck, it is notable that he plays Spellcaster Village with the Draco Slayer, no? So the Spellcaster is very strong against the format right now, mostly to the fact that there's a bunch of spell cards on the main deck of most decks on the format right now. And on the extra deck, played the level 10 of Tenpai, which is an FTK button that you can go into battle phase and pretty much win the game from there. And next we have second place Albert Tenpai Dragon. So speaking of the devil, we have the Tenpai Dragon. So this time the extra deck was pretty much different, no? It has a lot of going on this extra deck, and a bunch of super poly targets as well, no? With the Golem Ignister and also the things on side deck, that those two fusion monsters as well are super poly targets. And this build is very interesting. It played going first set up with the Illusion Rabbit and also the Angel Statue of the main deck. So yeah, this is very interesting to look at and very simple as well, no? Nothing too out of order on this build. Just the standard amount of hand traps with the shifter, with the droll and the Magnamut. So yeah, very functional list from Albert. And next we have another Tenpai Dragon. So this is more of the usual Tenpai Dragon with the double Kaiser on the side deck, and also the things of Didi Crow on the main deck, and also triple Dora Draco, which is quite interesting as well because most Tenpai players are playing Dora Draco into two, sometimes one on some lists. But yeah, I definitely think that you could get so much consistency from playing triple Dora Draco, but sometimes it clags on your hand. So that's the iffy part on that. And next we have, wow, we have Tachyon. So early, no? We have Tachyon already, a new deck coming from DP29. So Tachyon was recently buffed, and yeah, definitely a threat on the format right now. Can FTK, can OTK, can combo off, can finish games effectively, and also can get play through against hand traps. So this is a very functional list from Ginang, and this is a very good list to use as a reference because the Tachyon builds are varying right now with so much differences and yeah, adjustments. So you could definitely play around on this build and make your own with the Bestial, no? he played Bestial package on this one with Lubellion and Branded Regain. And moving on, we have Duelist Debata Ranking Tournament. We have Champion. Wow, True Draco. Look at this. Oh lord, we have True Kinkowski, True Draco. Look at the memes on this picture of True Draco. So yeah, a Floodgate deck, nothing to explain too much about that, but it's definitely effective once you can capitalize on your Floodgates, your control setup, you definitely stun the opponent. And also on the side deck, the Border and Macrocosmos are huge threats on the format right now. Most decks cannot play around Macrocosmos. Once you set up Macrocosmos, the Snake Eyes will definitely struggle, even the Voiceless Voice. So yeah, there's a bunch of decks that will definitely struggle around the Macrocosmos. And next we have Tenpai, another Tenpai from Goku. Yeah, Tenpai Dragon. So yeah, I played triple Ghost Ogre on the side deck, which can be very strong on the mirror match. And also double Mourner on the main deck. Another form of Veiler and Pseudo Imperm. So you have another outlet to negate the opponent's monster. And on top of that, you could get burn damage as well. Very impactful on game 3 and later stages of the game. And double Kaiju, no? Very interesting. Kaiju over Santa Claus. Yeah. And next we have Ritual Beast. So yeah, the usual Ritual Beast. Very effective. Can shut down the graveyard with the shifter and also get overwhelming board presence once you go first and you are not impaled by Maxi or Nibiru. You could definitely build a very phenomenal board on this Ritual Beast. And on the side deck, it played a bunch of going second cards. Super Poly, Droplet, and Eclipse, and Lightning Storm, Cosmic. All of those are going second cards to destroy boards and annihilate boards. And also played anti-spell over the things like Macrocosmos or Kaiser Colosseum. Very interesting choice. Next we have another control. So there's a bunch of stun already on our report, no? So yeah, we have Jogen Beatdown. Wow. With Pachi and Jogen and Dogmatica package, no, with the Nadir dumping the Garura, you could get a draw one and you get Ecclesia and you search for Dogmatica Punishment. So you have plus 3 on a single card. Very immense value from Nadir Servant. But yeah, very slow on going second. He has only evenly matched. And yeah, the Battle of Galgona on the main deck to have chances of going second. And also the Nadir, you could dump something like NTs, yeah, to destroy monsters. And yeah, on the side deck, it played a bunch of going second cards with Pankra, Raigeki, and Dark Ruler No More, no? Very interesting on this build. I don't see Dark Ruler No More on anti-meta too much. And yeah, moving on, we have uh, Osiris Dubilis Yu-Gi-Oh! Community Ranking Tournament. We have first place, Vanquish Shoal. So, Vanquish Shoal, no? It's been kinda falling off recently. There's less and less reps of Vanquish Shoal, sadly, in our OCG. But, yeah, players like this can definitely bring out the best of Vanquish Shoal. You need a lot of technical ability and skills to maximize the full potential of Vanquish Shoal. So, as we can see, Aldi is a person that can utilize that. And next, we have Dino from PWB. So yeah, standard Dino build, nothing too fancy or extravagant here. Played triple Droll na over the likes of Veiler and Imperm. So yeah, definitely Droll can shut down a lot of decks, especially the Finsmith, which are very prevalent on the format. I think there's an error on the side deck because it says 17 cards. Yeah, I think that's decklist error. Next we have Melodious White Forest. So another combo deck on the block. So you could get one card combos from the Ostinato, from the Melodious cards, the Pendulum Melodious, and also the White Woods. And yeah, I think this is very explosive. You could set up a very tremendous board with the Barone Apollousa and things like Little Knight that could definitely seal the game away. And yeah, played the Gravity Collapse on the side deck. Very interesting. Another option as a going first card on this Synchro deck. Next we have fourth place Snake Eyes. So with Finsmith, okay. So this time with Finsmith, I think it's the first in our report here that features Finsmith, and I think it's one of the most rep decks in the OCG right now. On our Philippines WCQ tournament, I have faced three Finsmith Snake Eyes. So I'm not really surprised that this is a very popular deck and it's very good as well. So yeah, Snake Eyes. It's been long enough to know how powerful this engine is, and moreover, it is more buffed with Finsmith, which is also very tremendous on starting place for this deck and getting the Omni Negate protection that they need to play around Nibiru and other things that could hurt their setup. And next we have Yu-Gi-Oh! Davao Mindanao ranking tournament. We have first place Snake Eyes, Sinful Spoils, Finsmith. So yeah, standard build no, triple imperm and double draw on the main deck and double Veiler as well. And yeah, played one talent only. So yeah, very good build from Andro Aguinaldo. And next we have Chimera from Cloyd. So yeah, it played triple D barrier on the main deck. Some people are shying away from playing D barrier. Most people are playing now anti-spell or yeah, summon limit. But I think D barrier could definitely shut down Tenpai, which is the most played deck in the Philippines and probably on all over Asia because it's very cheap, it's very affordable, and most people are geared to play because it's easy to play as well. So yeah, I think D barrier could definitely do so much against those matchups. And next we have Scareclaw Visas. So yeah, standard build of Scareclaw Visas, but play triple talent no. So he just wants to answer hand traps left and right, and yeah, I think he's going to anticipate a lot of hand traps on this build. Especially people are more knowledgeable now on Visas Scareclaw because of Alfred Zamora on their Davao ranking tournament. Those are the people that are religiously playing the Visas and Scareclaw deck all over there. And next we have Tenpai Dragon from Jobel Bios. So yeah, I played the Zeus package on the extra deck. Very interesting. So you get the level 3 of rank 3 rather of Phantom Knight, and you make Zeus, and yeah, pretty much about it. Boost your going second, but it's just an alternative if you cannot OTK your opponent because some boards can definitely outlast the barrage of 10 by hand traps and yeah, the hand trap shenanigans. So sometimes you have an option to go into Zeus and wipe the board and just OTK the opponent next turn. And yeah, moving on, we have Evo Community Ranking Tournament. We have first place here, we have Naturia Horus. So yeah, of course, Naturia Beast is Naturia Beast. There's no really bad reason to play Naturia Beast. I think Naturia Beast is very phenomenal on the format right now. The bonfires and the original, and yeah, a bunch of spell cards on the format right now, like the Voiceless Voice and Tenpai as well with their field spell and the Sangen Kaimen. So yeah, you shut down yeah something like 30% of the deck of most meta decks. So it's a huge upside for this Naturia Beast. And yeah, you could also play Lava Golem, which doesn't have too much drawback on this because you don't really expend your normal summon. You just fetch off your Horus engine and Naturia on your graveyard, and you're pretty much geared to go. And next we have Tenpai. So this time with more board breaker oriented build, no? With triple change of heart and double lightning storm with one heavy storm and duster. So he doesn't have to rely on drawing hand traps like yeah, the ogre, whaler, imperms. Oh, it doesn't play imperm. Yeah, it played only the Nibiru and ogre and whaler. So yeah, he doesn't rely. Oh, he doesn't have Ash. Wow, very spicy. So this list doesn't have Ash. Very interesting. So instead, he played more copies of Change of Heart and of course the Trust package on this build. And this one we have Snake Eyes, much more different. Yeah, different build of Snake Eyes. Played Forbidden Calice with 3 copies on the main deck, no imperm and only 7 side deck cards. Very interesting, but he managed to top on the tournament. So props to him. And next we have Matmech. So yeah, Matmech with bunch of hand traps. Yeah, circular OTK of course. Also played Red Reboot no on the main deck. Red Reboot very strong against Rescue Ace of course, and other trap decks on the format. And next we have Duelist Tepian ranking tournament. We have Champion, we have Yubel Unchained. So this time it played Regeki on the main deck. Nothing too weird about that, but yeah, it is definitely unusual So Regeki is a card that can trade so much value. Your opponent can set up a Pulusa, Little Knight, IP Masquerena, all of those no Omni negates boss monsters can easily get wiped by Regeki. So I think he prioritizes the board wiping capability of his deck on playing Regeki along with the Super Poly, so it's quite evident that he wants to break board on this build. And next we have Vanquishol and other Vanquishol. So I'm glad that we have two Vanquishol on our report right now. So yeah, I think Vanquishol are gaining some form of traction aside from few tops from here and there, no. So yeah, really glad that Vanquishol is gaining spotlight once again. And next we have Fluandris. So another Fluandris. This time it played only one Feather Storm with double trust, no. So he has also options to play the evenly on his trust, and yeah, the extra deck was just bunch of unusual cards with a purely engine. Next we have fourth place Whitewoods Toy Finsmith. So this time with Finsmith. So yeah, very interesting. Finsmith can definitely give you an Omni Negate protection on your board. Can also access the High King Caesar on this build. So you can protect your setup from Nibiru. And also can set up Apollousa as well very easily. So yeah. And moving on, we have Duel Bacolod Wolf Spider Cafe Qualifiers Day 2. We have Horus. Yeah, Horus Stun with Kaiju, no? So Horus Kaiju Stun. So yeah, I played Mirror Force. Wow, very very spicy. So Mirror Force could definitely shock 10 by players if they cannot go into the level 10 early. They could definitely suffer from Mirror Force. And yeah, moving on, we have Ritual Beast, another Ritual Beast. This time it played the new Pseudo Ash Blossom from this trap card, just beside the Infinite Impermanence. So yeah, so you don't really use too much fire monsters on this build, so you could definitely play that card. And yeah, moving on, we have Voiceless Voice. Yeah, Voiceless Voice. So standard build na, played Ghost Ogre on the main deck instead of things like Nibiru. So yeah, Ghost Ogre definitely is strong against Tenpai and also can be good against the mirror match of Voiceless Voice. You could get rid of the continuous spells easily. And next we have Butuan Yu-Gi-Oh! Community. We have first place Labyrinth from Eray Jimenez. So very diverse type of deck building. Played bunch of trap cards on the main deck and also floodgates like Summon Limit, Anti-Spell, and Rivalry. So he boosted the overall performance of the deck going first in confirmation of the Maxi and the other hand traps on the deck, of course. So he does play only 2 Maxi and 2 Imperm on the main deck without Ash Blossom. So yeah, I think he just wants to break boards using the evenly match. And yeah, I think this build is really interesting from Eray. And also played Heavenly. Yeah, Heavenly Prison on the side deck. So he can protect his back row, his floodgates, of course. You want to watch out against lightning storms, against, yeah, Duster and Heavy Storm, of course. And next we have Centurion Snake Eyes from Lee Marvin Sabio. So only played one Nibiru on the main deck and yeah, few hand traps because he does have a lot of room for the engines with Centurion and Snake Eyes with Sinful, no? And played Waboku, no? Very spicy from Lee Marvin. Very techy card right now. Waboku can definitely catch Tenpai off guard, and once you can Waboku the Tenpai and you have enough resources to make a comeback next turn, you're pretty much guaranteed to win the game. And next we have Memento from Epi, Mark Clustiva. So yeah, from Butuan, our friend as well from Kaido Willis. So yeah, I played, there can be only one on the main deck, which is very strong on this Memento because you can pretty much play freely from TC Bu. And also played Super Poly on the main deck, which is very strong against the format right now, especially we have a lot of Tenpai. You could definitely Super Poly the Tenpai Dragons, and they're pretty much unguarded with that, no, because you cannot respond to into the Super Poly and it's very detrimental against the Tenpai. And next we have Tenpai Dragons. Speaking of the devil, we have Tenpai. And yeah, I played one multi-champion on the main deck. And yeah, only one Multichami. Oh, so the second copy was on the side deck, and it played a lot of going first cards, Kaiser and Heatwave and the Black Goat Laps from Dwight. And moving on, we have Uni Aqua Hobbies weekdays ranking tournament. We have another Tenpai Dragon from John Pad, yeah, or Alfredo. Yeah, Alfredo. So this time we played one Mourner on the main deck and only one Dora Draco. Like I've said earlier, some people are opting to play one Dora Draco with the expense of playing triple Pydra. So yeah, I think Pydra is just too much uh, value, no? You could get the field spell of course, and you're pretty much guaranteed to play around your opponent cards when you have the field spell active. And next we have Janpad, Tenpai Dragon as well. So this time it played a lot of going first cards as well on the side deck. Played Kaiser and D Barrier. This time with D Barrier. And also played Magnamut on the main deck. Yeah. Which is very insane for Tenpai. And as well as the Finsmith and Voiceless Voice matchups as well. And yeah, moving on. We have Azrak, Edo Pro, ranking Edo Pro Tournament, Season 10. We have first place Yubel Finsmith from Anan Kipit. So it played the Photon on the side deck, the tech card that is very much popularized in the Philippines, with the Photon nullifying the 10 OTK strategy, and also played Triple Change of Heart, which can definitely give him access towards link climbing into his extra deck cards, and yeah, very easy access towards the link shenanigans of this Yubel Finsmith. And next we have another Yubel Finsmith from Mark Stephen. So the finals was mirror match, no, of Yubel Finsmith. This time a different approach, played Solemn Judgment, a much more popular going first card for the Yubel Finsmith, and you could pretty much protect your board from any forms of disruption and yeah, board breakers around the Solemn Judgment. Next we have Tanea Vergara, Snake Eyes, Sinful Spoils, Finsmith. So yeah, this time triple multi-chami, very strong on the Philippines format, very good against Tenpai, and also there's a bunch of Wanderers players in the Philippines, so multi-chami does a good job on dealing against those Wanderers matchups. And next we have Salaman Grit from J. Dorillo from Iloilo. So yeah, triple Salaman Grit of Fire, and yeah, played as well triple Kurifoton. So, like I've said earlier, Kurifoton is gaining popularity in the side deck of many people due to how impactful the Tenpai Dragon is on our local meta game. And yeah, next we have another Tenpai Dragon. So, this time we played Alpha Master of Beast on the deck, no? From Alfred Abdul. So, yeah, Alpha, very interesting. I didn't thought of it this way. I think there are better cards to play against Alpha, but Alpha gives you a free body and a bounce as well. So yeah, it's not really a negi card. And next we have Ren's Gisagan, Chimera Horus. So this Ren's Gisagan has won our recent big event in Kaido Willis and used I think the same deck. Yeah, I played Wanghu Tiger on the side deck, which can definitely stun a lot of decks on the format right now. Next we have Walter Fat. With Fire King Snake Eyes Finsmith. So standard build of Snake Eyes Finsmith, played a lot of one-offs on the side deck with the Retire King C and Phantasmi on the side deck with one Droll and Nibiru. And yeah, played one summon limit. He has access towards this summon limit, I guess. Yeah, one summon limit. Very interesting. And next we have Yubel Unchained, another Yubel on this tournament. There's a plethora of Yubel recently in our metagame in the Philippines. So I'm not really surprised, but this time with Unchained, with a bunch of Fin targets on the deck. And also played a bunch of side deck cards of going first cards with Summon Limit and Anti-Spell, which can seal the game already. Once you go first, set up your Yubel, Spirit of Yubel, and your uh, interruptions with Summon Limit and Anti-Spell, you're pretty much geared to win the game. And next we have another Finsmith with Jubel, and this time with Scareglow from Alfred. So, like I've said earlier, there's a player which is Alfred in the Davao community, which plays Scareglow extensively. So, this time he tried a different approach for the Scareglow. This time with Finsmith and Jubel, very innovative deck building from Alfred Zamora. And also on the side, I played Nemesis package, no? So, Protoss, which is very insane. around the format right now, locking out fire, locking out light, locking out dark. So this is very immense for the format right now. Next we have Buster Blader Horus from Darwin. So I also played Buster Blader quite a while ago, and Buster Blader can definitely make your life easier in the Philippines. Of course, against Tenpai, you are pretty much going to have a free win against Tenpai once you go first, and of course Tenpai will eventually let you go first. So yeah, I think that's the approach of this Buster Blader to stun the opponent, and also with the Horus package to supplement the deck, similar to the YCS tapping deck of Buster Blader Horus recently. And next we have Tenpai Dragon from Davao as well. We have triple Heat Wave without Kaiser Coliseum, yeah, on the side deck. So just Heat Wave and Super Poly as well. Yeah, Super Poly on the side deck. And next we have David Garrett Orduña, Voiceless Voice. So this time with Dark Ruler No More and Denko Seka. Wow, Denko Seka. This is very interesting. Can be good against Rescue Ace and other decks like Labyrinth, no? Or Runic. And other back row decks, of course. So yeah, Denko Seka. Very interesting. And next we have another Yubel Finsmith from Kit Jeremy David. So this time it played triple DD Crow, which is very impactful on the format right now once you banish those Luri, those Safira, and the Tenpai Dragons on the graveyard as well to prevent the Green Dragon from summoning them back. So yeah, I think DD Crow does have us a room on our format right now. And next we have another Voiceless Voice, this time with Branded. Wow. Yeah, it played Branded with Deck Lockdown and Jogen. Wow. Very spicy from John Mark Javagat. So this is like a TCG approach for the Voiceless Voice. Very different from the usual Voiceless Voice build. Next we have Christian Capili Chimera without Finsmith. So this time with only one illusion card on the main deck on this Illusionist Apprentice. So it doesn't play Finsmith. Yeah. But it played the Dark Statue of course as well. And next we have Voiceless Voice. So I think it's the second. Yeah, we have Tenpai Dragon. So I think it's the repetition of the tournament. So yeah, moving on we have Duelo Iloilo, ranking tournament, special tournament. We have first place Snake Eyes Finsmith from Earl Andro Camara with Mass of Restrict. Wow. So Mass of Restrict very immense from the side deck of his build. I think Mass of Restrict is good against Luandris and also Voiceless Voice, yeah. Correct me if I'm wrong. So Mass of Restrict, very interesting tech. And also played the DDD spell in the main deck, yeah. DDD spell if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, he has access towards the DDD package on the extra deck as well, that XYZ Pendulum card. And next we have Voiceless Voice from Christopher Edward Bondoc. So it played the new Continuous Trap. Wow. Wow, with Buten as well. Look at this spice now. There's a bunch of spice going on our report. I'm flabbergasted. And yeah, it played Dark Witch itself. Yeah. Dark Lord, yeah. On the side deck to stun the opponent maybe. And played Light Barrier Statue as well, which can stun as well on the format right now. Only Voiceless Voice does have a play on that. And next we have Runic Whitewood. So TCG people are experimenting on this build for quite some time. Joshua Schmid and other Yugi tubers are playing around this idea, and I wonder if they have gotten it correct. And I'm not really seeing too much of Runic Whitewoods in the Japanese tournaments and Chinese tournaments recently. But this time it played a very exquisite amount of Runic cards, and also the Delta package on the side deck. Yeah, Gamma package, I'm not really sure. And next we have Supreme King Magician from Nel Pendon. So it played the Valiants on the deck, no? So he has access towards the Valiants. And also Twin Twister on the side deck. So he has no problems discarding card. And he just wants to eradicate Anti-Spell Fragrance, of course, on this build. And moving on, we have another tournament from Duelo Iloilo. We have first place Snake Eyes Finsmith. Oh, Chimera Finsmith from Erlandro Camara. So another variant of Finsmith from him. And this time it played also the DDD package. Yeah, also the DDD package. And yeah, The Finsmith as well, very good on the Chimera, boost your resiliency and sealing of the deck, and played the Wanghu Tiger as well, like the earlier build from Red Sigizagan from the Chimera Horus. And next we have Toy Box White Forest from Gieran. So this time we played the Iris Sword Soul on the main deck. I wonder how he does play this version of this White Woods. But yeah, I think it could work because other Sword Soul builds and other crazy synchro builds are also playing Iris before. So I'm not really surprised that much. And Jai played the new Illusion Link monster of Rabbit as well on the main deck and on the extra deck rather. Next we have John Christian Bedilla, Yubel Finsmith, another Yubel Finsmith. Nothing to say too much about this. I played double Kurifotan as well on the side deck with double Dark Ruler No More. And next we have Supreme King Melodious from Nel Pendon. I think it's the same list as earlier. Oh, it's not. It's the same player but it doesn't play the Valiance package on the deck. And instead it played Abyss Actor. Yeah, Abyss Actor on the main deck. So this is getting too spicy. And it played Pancrataps as well on the side deck, which can answer the anti-spell, the bane of this deck. And moving on, we have Duelo Iloilo. Oh, Duelo Antique. So shout outs to our Antique friends. So this time we have Earl Camara from Iloilo topping the tournament in Antique. Oh, Iloilo and Antique crossover tournament. So it's the same list as earlier, nothing too extravagant on this build. I think it's the same as earlier from Earl. Next we have Jan Bedilla. I think it's the same as earlier as well with the double Kurifoton. Fiend Link, no? And next we have Tenpai from Kyle Gamban, Iloilo. So it played Santa Claus over the things like Kaijus. So I think Santa Claus can definitely have a good option against Finsmith and rather Yubel and Voiceless Voice. You can out the Skull Guardian and the Spirit of Yubel quite easily on this Santa Claus. And next we have Matthew Iloilo from Iloilo, Salaman Great. So yeah, he didn't reveal the side deck, but just standard build of Salaman Great and triple Lady Debug as well on the main deck. And only one Salaman Great of Fire, yeah, only one. And only one Promethean as well. Yeah. And next we have Ignister Matmech from Sian Shan Saxon. And the Ignister quite forgotten already from the recent format trends, no? But I think this deck can still perform. You can have the access to tower the opponent with the arrival and also OTK easily on this deck. You have easy access towards the access code and update jammer, so it's easy to OTK. And once your opponent cannot answer the hand traps that you're going to throw at them, you're pretty much guaranteed to win the game using this Ignister. And next we have Vintet Diana Iloilo from Iloilo with Whitewoods Eldritch. So I think I would experiment this build as well on Ido Pro. I have picked my interest on this build and I think it could work. The Synchro package also ventures out on the Whitewoods similar to the Synchron Eldritch before, and the Eldritch is a very grindy engine as well on the deck. You would get so much value on the grind game. And on the side deck played Waboku as well. I'm not familiar on the last card on the side deck after the anti-spell, so I'm going to search for that. And yeah, very interesting deck from Wintet Diana. And next we have Dragonity, Dragon Link from Anthony Apelado from Antique. And yeah, double Dragon Ravine, no, on the main deck. I'm really surprised that he played double Dragon Ravine, but I guess he plays a Dragonity variant, so he just wants to have another copy of Dragon Ravine on the main deck. And yeah, played a bunch of bestials as well, Saronir, Paldrake, and the Druid's Worm. Of course, it is going to be included on this Dragon Link variant. Next we have Robin Flores from Antique as well. We have Mekanko, so a very pesky deck to play against. A very hard deck to deal against, to be honest. I'm not really sure how his opponents cope with this Mekanko. I'm not really experienced on dealing against Mekanko, but I think he gave his opponents a hard time on Mekanko. And next we have Labyrinth from Carl Alarcon from Antique as well. So standard build of Labyrinth, played Duster on the main deck, no? And cross out as well. Maybe he wants to eradicate the Ash Blossom. Of course, very traumatic from the big welcome and welcome labyrinth. So next we have Dragon Maid Bestial. Wow, from Matt Banya from Antique. So Antique has a lot of very innovative players on their locals. So this time with Bestial's package on the main deck, and also played a branded package with Fallen of Albas and Branded Fusion, and also uh, without Garura, no? Yeah, it doesn't play Garura. So Super Poly has targets of Starving Venom only. Yeah, Starving Venom only. Very interesting. And bunch of going first cards, Solemn Strike and Anti-Spell to protect his board of Hieratic Seals maybe, and Tidying Pass. Next, we have Antonio Norelia Antique as well from Antique. We have Branded Espia. So, the branded, usual branded, nothing too fancy about this. Just the standard amount of branded cards and bestial cards on the main deck with double Quem, double Cartesia, and also played a bunch of hand traps on the side deck. Wailers, Ogres, name of all those hand traps are very effective on the format right now because it doesn't have space on the main deck. Moreover, yeah, I think. And next we have Ice Barrier from Carl Estefano. Yeah, from Antique as well. So play Twin Twister on the main deck, no? Very interesting. Maybe he has no problems discarding card, but yeah, I think it could work. And bunch of going first cards on the side deck from the toolbox of Ice Barrier. So yeah, I think that's his approach on his side deck. Maybe he treats the Ice Barrier as a toolbox type of deck, so yes, too much options to play on the side deck. And yeah, moving on, we have Order of the Duelist in Albay. We have first place Salamangreat. So there are 2, 3, 4 Salamangreats on our report right now. I couldn't see the deck clearly on this report, so I'm not really going to see through it too much. And next we have first runner up from Paul, FK Snake Eyes of course, and played the illusion card of trap card from the Rabbit Illusionist. So yeah, very interesting approach from Paul. And next we have Angela James Vanquishol, another Vanquishol on this list. This time it played the Floodgate. I forgot the name. Time Sealing. Yeah, Time Sealing something on this main deck. And also played Diddy Crow, which are dark as well, Magnamut, and yeah, I think those cards can be very beneficial from his reveal shenanigans. Next we have Patrick Burton. We have Farking Snake Eyes. Oh, Finsmith Snake Eyes. So yeah, this time with Finsmith. So triple Nibiru on the side deck. I think that's the way to go right now. I think even though Finsmith can set up Apollousa early and the hiking, they can pretty much struggle with Nibiru on certain occasions, and especially if they don't really play around the Nibiru too much. So yeah, I think Nibiru on 3 is really correct here. And yeah, that sums up our Uncrowned Kings local metagame report, this time from June 1 to June 9. So once again, thank you for watching this video. I hope you do learn something from it, and please do like and subscribe on my YouTube channel. It definitely keeps me motivated a lot. So once again, thank you for watching. See you on the next one. Peace.